Today on the Tim Marner podcast show, we've got Liberty Mills, Integrative Nutrition Coach. Integrative Nutrition Coach. What the fuck is an Integrative Nutrition Coach?
Yeah, lots of people told me to drop the integrative, but I said no. Integrative means it's a whole 360. You can, for example, you can eat all the kale in the world, chant, meditate, but if you're not sleeping, it's going to have a knock-on effect. If you hate your boss, hate your wife, if you're chain eating, as I call it, it's not going to work. You have to have everything integrated.
Is this all from you getting lupus, this journey?
It started a long time ago when I was about 19 and I went to Thailand and I started getting into Taoism and fasting and cleansing and drinking clay drinks and juicing. And then it stopped after about 3 years. And then, the knock-on effect is not for me getting
Why did it stop?
lupus. I had a baby, had to earn money and get on with life, I thought.
You thought?
Yeah.
The darkness set in.
Yeah.
What was the darkness?
Just that hustle. I lived in London. I was a single mom of a 2-year-old. Everything else goes aside.
Yeah. How'd you get back into it then?
Having everything taken away from me and having lupus.
Talk to me about that.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
Well, talk to me about what is lupus to start off with.
Okay, it's an autoimmune disease. It's really hard to diagnose. It can take around 7 to 9 years to get diagnosed. They are diagnosing non-white people a lot quicker because they realize people like me, brown people, are more likely to have it. But it took them, I was diagnosed quite quickly, took them about 9 months to diagnose me.
And what kind of things are you going through when...
So I couldn't do this, for example, because that light over there would, like the daylight would be burning this part of my skin. So I could do it.
You?
Yeah. So my face would start to blister.
Like a vampire?
Yeah, I'd have to, exactly. Lupus.
Ah.
Yeah. So in the olden
Werewolf.
days, they used to think someone had been bitten by a werewolf and they'd got this disease.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's class, isn't it? Well, it's not, but
Yeah,
it
but-
is. I like the backstory.
Yeah.
What else?
So I used to have a huge afro, like that.
Yeah.
And it just started coming out in clumps. So I was bald here.
How old were you when this...
30.
Right.
I'd just turned 30. I'd just been to my parents in Spain, come back and I had this weird rash on my face. And I thought it was because I treated myself to a posh SPF.
Right.
I was like, oh, should have stuck with Nivea. This SPF like brought me out in this rash. So did the doctor, gave me topical antibiotic, nothing was working. They even said, oh, go on the sunbed, it might make it better. Obviously, made it worse. I used to have really bad pains in my hips, chronic fatigue, mouth ulcers, insomnia. I was sleeping like 1.5 to 3 hours a night. My periods were all over the place. I couldn't even plait my own daughter's hair. She was 7 then, couldn't plait her hair. Couldn't get the key in the door, that twist. She'd have to help me. And then I went to see a locum and she said... A locum, like standing doctor.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And she said, are your hips really bad when your face is bad? And I said, yeah. And she said to me, do you watch House? And I said, yeah. And she said...
I love House.
Yeah, exactly. But he always said, it's not lupus. Do you remember it was a thing? It was a running joke. She said, well, with you, I think it might be. And
that's how rare it is.
Yeah. And, well, it's not. It's actually more common than we think. It just takes so long for people to be diagnosed. So I went off to the hospital right there and then, and I had 9 out of the 11 markers.
So where's your head at? What are you thinking? Fuck. Do you know what lupus is at that time?
No, I just thought it was the thing that no one had on House.
Right.
They just give you a leaflet, say there's no cure. here's some drugs, and they give you anti-malaria drugs, which helps to shut down your body, because what it is the body is sort of almost short-circuiting, and it doesn't know the difference between good and bad bacteria, so it attacks everything. So I had like mini heart attack, like mini like heart palpitation things. It would sometimes
Just you and your daughter at the time?
Yeah, just me and my daughter. My parents lived in Spain.
And how are you getting through this time?
A lot of painkillers.
Really?
Yeah. So I was on one painkiller, and you're meant to have no more than 4 a day, and I was having about 12 a day.
Just to get through?
Just to get through. A lot of sugar to help me with the energy. And then this anti-malaria drug that helps.
What were you doing for work?
I was still modelling,
But
they were having to put loads and loads and loads of foundation on me because my skin was just... I used to be a beauty model as well, so my skin was just a mess. It had this thing called the butterfly rash, and it was getting really dry from the medication as well. And then in the end, I just couldn't really work. And also my hair was falling out, so I wasn't very sellable.
Fuck. Crazy that, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many times have you told this story?
A few times. I went, so in perspective as well, I was losing a lot of weight. So I'm 9.5 stone now. I was 9 stone then. And I went down at my worst to 5.25 stone.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's just like bone.
Did you know a way out?
No, and I sort of took the drugs for a while, and then they put you on this drug called methotrexate, which completely shuts you down. You're only allowed to take, I was only allowed to take it so many tablets once a week because it's so impactful. And I would only take it at night because it made me feel suicidal. So take that, and then even that stopped working.
It make you feel suicidal?
Yeah.
What sort of drug is that?
Yeah, well, it has a skull and crossbone on the packet,
Oh,
and it says, if you have a cold, cough, sore throat, do not go to your GP. Go direct to A&E. So you become really, really paranoid. I remember sitting on the train opposite someone, and they coughed and didn't put their hand over the mouth, and I just lost it at them, going, "You could kill me. You don't understand the drug that I'm on. Do you understand what you've just done to me?" Yeah.
Where was your mental health at the time? Like, how did you?
Out of the window.
Was it?
Yeah.
You had no support group around you?
My daughter, that was it.
Just you and her?
Yeah. At the beginning, and then I was ill on and off for, I'd say, 8 years. So you go in these things called flares. So you can be okay, and then you can have a flare where all of a sudden, so you're okay, you get on the tube, because I was living in London, 6 stops in, you'll just get hit and your legs give way, and you've got to ask someone to help you off the tube.
What the fuck?
And then I was in a relationship with someone for about 7 years, through the end of being ill and then getting better. But it changes your relationships with people as well. Because he ended up being like a carer, which isn't very sexy.
That's not sexy, that is it?
It's not sexy, being carried to the toilet so you don't wee the bed because you can't get out of bed.
That's fucked, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And where was the light at the end of the tunnel?
There wasn't one until... So I was diagnosed when my eldest was 7. And when she was 12, she came home and she was putting me to bed, as she did. And she said, "Mummy, I've been learning about mortgages and tracker mortgages and things today, and I really understand it, and I can cook, I can clean, but how am I going to pay for all of this, the mortgage and the bills, when you die? Because you're going to die soon." And she just said it really like matter of fact.
Like dead blasé.
Yeah. And she was like, I can look after myself, but I don't know how to pay for it. And that's when I was like, someone in this world must have reversed this. And I got every book, and I went to every healer and researched everything, and I found this one man. And actually I went to see a dermatologist to try and get some money to pay to see these healers. And he said, he was on Harley Street, and he said, I can sort your face out, I can laser it, but it's only going to come back. How about I give you 3 free treatments for free? He's on Harley Street. But you save your money, and the money you were going to give me, you go and see this other man, and he will get you better. So
Why did he do that for you?
I don't know.
He just felt...
Kind.
Just kindness?
Yeah.
Mad that, innit?
Yeah.
How much would the treatments have been?
Oh, they were like, I don't know, a few £100 each, like 300 quid each.
And this guy that he sent you to, what was his relationship with that guy?
They just worked together on like some conference somewhere, and he just sent me to him.
Who is this guy?
He's called Raj Batu, and he's amazing. He is a bioenergetic chemist. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
But he'll do like kinesiology and use sound therapy, hook you up onto this weird machine that'll tell you what your levels are.
I love him. I need
Cranial,
to do that.
yeah, you would love him. Cranial psychotherapy, all sorts. And he said, you're really sick.
So tell me the first encounter that you had with him. What? Does this guy give you a number, you've rang him up?
Yeah.
Is he like proper busy, this guy?
Yeah, he is. He usually takes, now he is, this is, a long time ago. He probably has like 3 to 5 months waiting list. But he saw me right away because this man said I was really sick. And he is why I do what I do now, because he would always give me the session at the end of the day so we could run on. And instead of having an hour session, I might be there for 3 hours.
So he saw something in you.
Yeah, and I'd always be writing things down. And what does this mean? Why am I having this? Why is this level changed from this? What have you given me that stopped my mouth ulcers? Why am I putting on weight? What worked for me? And he said, you've got to work back, all the way back. And we went back to like even pre me being born, like me being in my mum. What was my mum's pregnancy like? What was her birth like? I was given a TB injection as soon as I was born. What effect did that have on my microbiome? Why was I so sick when I was 6 years old? All of those things. And it taught me a lot.
So he's taking you right back to being in the womb.
Yeah.
That's nuts, that, isn't it?
Well, that's where we started life, right?
Yeah, but you don't really think like that, do you?
No, but it all affects us. And
so what conclusion did you come to spending that time with him?
I have a cell mutation anyway, so I'm more susceptible to autoimmune diseases. But then the amount of immunizations I had so young. Also, my mum was like, no offense to my mum, but she was a bit of a party girl while she was pregnant. She was actually in a nightclub the day I was meant to be born. So I can't imagine her pregnancy was very healthy.
So you went back and you talked to your mum about it?
Yeah.
And you went, what was the birth like? What was
and
what
really were you emotionally going through at the time? All of those things. So yeah, and then, even going back to that, I modeled in Japan for like a year, the amount of mercury levels because I was eating cheap sushi, all of those things, loads of mercury fillings in my mouth since I was about, 8 or 9. All of those things had an effect. So I had to go on a massive detox, replenish, restore.
How long were you with Raj for?
Oh gosh, on and off over a year.
What is he doing? Sound healing on you as well, and all these things.
Everything.
He's doing everything.
Everything, like every 6 weeks, and then I'm taking homeopathic medicines.
Tell me one of his sessions. What would he do in one of his sessions? I'm really interested.
I'd go in. I don't know what the machine's called. You have these like 2 prongs, and you hold them. Your viewers will probably know what it is. And it shows your levels. So I'm quite a competitive person. So if he's like, oh, your levels have got to be such a number and they're this number, I'm like, what have I got to do for my levels to be that number in 6 weeks? Right, I'll do it.
So you kind of set yourself like kind of little goals.
Yeah.
And what else is he doing?
Manipulating like cranial psychotherapy. So they like massage like the skull as well. Sound therapy with the tuning forks.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of self-hate, obviously, because I hated my body, what it was doing. But that's not going to help you get better, is it?
No.
Like,
It's not
I
going to do anything
really
anybody any
hated
good.
my body.
Did you?
So much. I hated it.
Even though you're a model.
But it wasn't anymore. I was just like this, in my head, this ugly waste of space mess. Like, I wasn't contributing to anybody. I was just a burden.
To everybody.
To everybody, that's what I felt, yeah.
Were you having suicidal thoughts at the time?
No, because
Or did your
of
daughter kept you?
My daughter kept me going, but I hated my life. Like, everything. I just hated. For example, I smashed all the mirrors in the house because I didn't want to. So my daughter didn't have a mirror for years.
So you didn't know, you didn't want to look back at
I
yourself.
just didn't want to look at myself. I just looked awful, like a freak in my head.
So when did you start feeling better?
Oh, easily, like a good 2 months into it.
And what was the thing that made you feel better the most? What was it?
I know it sounds really basic, but not having 20 mouth ulcers. Because it's easier to talk, it's easier to swallow, like eat. You don't have to have soft foods.
And how did the ulcers go?
Because he was healing my gut, sort of like into your mouth. Like I was going through 1 bottle of Listerine, at least, sometimes 2, those big ones, a week. Because my breath smelled so bad because my gut was bad.
What were you eating at the time?
What, before or during?
Before and during.
Okay, so before I was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
So I used to eat a lot of
Quan.
corn,
Yeah.
tofu, things like that. I used to make all my, I don't know, breakfast, usually maybe a bagel or something like that, cream cheese, lunch, maybe a sandwich.
So that was what you were doing before, so it's not too
Yeah,
bad.
nothing like, I wasn't, I would eat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't eat crisps. I'd eat biscuits. I did love a chocolate finger. Like, I love those and those little cookies.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like and they would always have a proper meal in the evening. So it
But
wasn't
you
as if I
got
was.
microbiome, hated it.
Yeah, but then he got me on like bone broth, and I was like, I don't even eat meat. What are you making me do? But I was like, I'll do
don't give a
anything.
fuck, do you?
I'll do
You
anything.
just like anything.
Yeah, I'll do anything to get better.
So what's he having? You having then? So you basically changed most of it through your diet.
No. I think my diet, things like having this disgusting magnesium powder he used to make me have every morning, glutamine, these homeopathic medicines. The one was called Endotox, high probiotics, megaspore biotics, prebiotics. I used to leave there with a carrier bag full of stuff.
And you still have that now?
No. Depends what's going on in my life. I'll just switch things around.
But you're totally aware now of what your body needs.
Oh, 100%.
You're so in tune with yourself.
100%. 100%.
And where was the point that you're thinking, right, this is what I want to do in my life, I want to start helping other people with these kind of issues?
I used to work I used to volunteer at a food bank. So going back to being so ill, obviously I couldn't work, I had no money. I couldn't live in my flat as well because it was a first floor flat and I couldn't get up the stairs because the lift wasn't always working. So I had to rent my flat out and move into a ground floor flat and have an assisted apparatus. So my sofa was raised, all of these sort of things. And then I had no money. So I had to go to the food bank to get food for my daughter because lupus wasn't on a disability
It wasn't?
list. No, it wasn't then. I think it is now, but it wasn't then.
Fuck.
Yeah. So I was
right through the mills, haven't you?
Yeah, mills, a bit
Yeah.
of mills. So I always said once I got better and I got back on my feet, I would volunteer twice a week there. And it was just seeing these people, a lot of people were ill or their partners had been ill and then they were carers. But I was like, how are these people meant to get better? And everyone's donating crap to the food bank. Like, and so I started making recipes that people could make with lentils or spice up their porridge and things like that. And Raj had always said, you should go and study this or go and be a doctor. And I was like, I'm way too old to be a doctor. And I asked this girl on Instagram to donate some recipes to the food bank. And me and her got talking on a walk, and she said, I really think you should do this course. And loads of my girlfriends said I should go and study it, because I was always helping people out, or like, oh, my periods are a mess, or I've got headaches, and I said, oh, you should try this, or look at this, or let's look at your tongue, or, you know, what's going on in the rest of your life.
Let's look at your tongue.
Yeah, your tongue shows you a lot of stuff.
What do you mean?
Like, if you've got like a white fairy tongue, unless you've like eaten feta or whatever, you might have a bit of candida, a bit of gut, you know, imbalance. It will show things that's going on with your liver. If you grind your teeth at night, all of these things. I always ask people to send me a picture of frontal of their tongue and then both sides. So yeah, people said go and study it, and I looked at being an NHS dietitian, but I was like, a lot of this data is at least 40 years out of date. Don't agree with it. And I found this course online in New York, and I went and did that for 2 years, and then here I am.
The course, and was it teaching anything you don't already know?
Yeah, there was they taught you over 100 dietary theories. There was big names teaching you there, because you can actually go and sit in and do it in New York. So Dr. Mark Hyman, Deepak Chopra, Sahara Rose, Dr. Vale, all of these big pioneering functional medicine people were teaching you. So I learned a lot. Like 3 days just on vitamin D. And then you've got the whole reference library as well to go through.
3 days on vitamin D?
Yeah, 3 days study just on vitamin D.
Should everybody be taking vitamin D?
Get your levels checked and see what they are.
That's a good answer. How often do you get your bloods checked?
I would recommend everyone to like ear bash your GP and get them done at least twice a year. It's good to get them done when you feel great, and then get a copy of it. Always get a copy.
Yeah.
They're like 10p.
Yeah.
Or you can just do it on the app if you want. And then do it when you don't feel great, and then see what the difference is. Because quite often the GP or the receptionist say, oh, you're within range, or you're within range for your body size or your age, or for a woman or for a black woman. Well, no. I want to be in my best optimal range, not within range. And that range, for example, vitamin D is anywhere from 25 to 200. So if I'm 26 or 100, I'm going to feel a little bit different, right?
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Do you just work with women?
No, I work with men. My youngest client, he just turned 12. He was 10 when I started him.
What's up with him?
He had irritable bowel disease.
Irritable bowel disease, not irritable bowel syndrome.
No, he had actually had a disease. And he was really, really sick. And that affected his mental health and his anxiety and all of these things. And not being able to go to school. He's actually probably one of my favourite clients, because he just be like, yeah, but why am I doing that? Why have I got to do that? What's that doing to my body? All right then. Yeah, okay, I'll do it.
So he's from Yorkshire?
Yeah, he's from Yorkshire.
Right.
Proper lad.
So where is he up to in his...
His inflammation markers in his gut have really reduced. His medication's near enough nothing, and he's back in school.
How do you get your inflammation markers checked?
GP, or now there's so many places you can go. There's private clinics that you can go. Rather than spending, I don't know what people do, 50 quid, 100 quid or whatever on your trainers, go and get some blood work done.
Yeah. So what is your goal, Liberty Mills, right now? What is the goal for you?
I want to educate and empower so many people, because, you know, quite often I've had clients go back with, I always give my clients medical links to medical peer review studies, And then they can go back to their medical team, GP, whatever, people under their, outpatients at the hospital, and say, but there was this study done in 2021 that says this. Why am I having this? Shouldn't we be looking at this? Because once you feel empowered and you become part of your medical team, you've got more chance of winning.
And was that the big thing for you?
Yeah, I think whenever people are ill, well, I felt really disempowered, and also not all doctors, but quite a lot have this like God complex that they know everything. Well, if you haven't kept up with everything and you graduated 15 years ago, you're out of date 15 years. Or you've just gone down, we're a whole body. So if I'm going to see you, I don't know, arthritis, you're not going to look at my gynecology, but they're all interlinked. Your mental health's linked to your gut, but then you'll just see, a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist, but they're not going to be looking at everything else that's going on in your body.
Hence why you so want to keep the word integrative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really is important. Yeah, maybe not everyone's going to understand it, but for me, it really is important. And once people start working with me, then they get it. I've had 2 people who've worked with me over the past 4 years that have got it so much, they've gone off and they've quit their job and gone off and done my course.
So you've got a course?
No, the course that I did, that I did, yeah.
I meant that, innit?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Do you ever give yourself the time to be proud of yourself or not?
I'm not famous, I'm not a celebrity who's now a biohacker or any of those things. And, we all look at social media or whatever, or TV, and I think, oh, I'm not there, wherever there is. But then someone will send me a card and say, you've really changed my life. Or I came to you for this, but now it saved my marriage. Or, I've got babies out there when people were told they should have a hysterectomy, that they're never going to have a child. So I have to remember those wins.
And now can you look at yourself in the mirror?
Yeah.
Which is the biggest thing, is it not?
Do you know what the biggest thing is? So 2 years ago, I moved up here 4 years ago, back up north after being in London. And 2 years ago, my old modelling agency said, oh, why don't you come back and do a bit of modelling? And I was like, I haven't modelled in years. So like, oh, well, if you get a job, you get a job. If you don't, you don't. And I got booked for 2 skincare campaigns, and one was without any makeup on at all, like not even any mascara or anything, no concealer. And I got back to my hotel and I burst out crying because I was like, I literally can't believe this is happening. Like, someone's booked me for my skin, and before that wouldn't have been there. Or if I went and did the leg press yesterday, and I sent. Not that it means anything to my mum, but I sent my mum a screenshot and I was like, Mum, I weigh 60 kilos, but I've just leg pressed 135. 12 years ago, I was using a Zimmer frame. And I had to have a lever to get me out of bed. And now I can do that.
What's your daughter said about it all?
She's really proud.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. But it does hurt. It hurts me that she had to see someone go through that.
I don't know though. It's just like things happen for a reason, don't they? And her to see that, well, if my mum can do it, then so can I. If ever time you're not there and times get bad, well, if my mum can do it, it's that leading by example.
Because
that's low that you've been out there, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's like depths.
Yeah.
Low that.
Well, she had meningitis at 17 and lost 50% feeling on the left side and couldn't read, write, lift a kettle, anything in the middle of her A-levels. So she's like, what you went through gave me the determination that I could get through that.
Ooh. Sick that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not as famous on what's it or look at how many followers I've got, all that crap. It's them moments, innit, that really, really matter. Yeah. There was a stage in my life where I couldn't look at myself in the mirror because I was kind of selling myself out a little bit, but I'm really proud of the man that looks back today. And I'm just like, I understand somebody doesn't look in the mirror. It's such a massive part. I think there's a lot of people out there who can't look at themselves in the mirror.
It is, and on my journey, I became a Buddhist, and I'm an Nichiren Daishonin Buddhist, and what you do is you chant this scroll, this scripture, but it's meant to be a mirror of yourself.
Yeah.
So not a higher entity. And it is, and we say you polish the mirror every day. That's what you do. So you polish that and try and bring forth your own Buddhahood and see it within everyone else.
So you've gone back to Daoism?
Yeah, I have in a way. Yeah, I've followed my whole Buddhist loop.
Because he was always calling you.
Yeah.
So how often do you practice then? How often do you practice meditation? Is it an everyday practice for you?
Every day.
So what are you doing? What is your practice?
I get up. Well, you chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo.
Yeah.
And you just chant it over and over again. Then you have
how many times you do that? Should there be a certain set amount of times, like 108?
No. Like, it's recommended a good half an hour, or realistically, I do 20 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. At night, I'm just trashed.
Yeah.
But there has been times where I've done hours if I really, really wanted something or to focus on something.
What else? What else do you do?
That's it. So this morning, for example, I had a bit of a rough night last night. I've got a 4-year-old who decided she wanted a cup of herbal tea at 2:30 in the morning. Yeah. Is
that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, well, it's a bad thing. I like my sleep. You have to get up, go make a cup of tea.
No, I'm thinking about having herbal tea at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know, she's just a weirdo. Yeah. So I woke up this morning, my alarm goes off at 5:30, and I was just like, I don't want to get up. So I went on my acupressure mat, did a meditation for...
The one with the spikes?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right.
I literally love it.
You just lied on there for how long?
25 minutes, listening to a guided meditation.
What is the sort of... What happens with them spikes when they go in? What are you actually doing?
They're going on all the little, your little acupressure points, and they're stimulating the circulation. So that's probably why it's quite good to do it first thing in the morning. And I brush my teeth standing on mine as well.
So you basically enjoy the pain?
No.
There's pain in that?
It's not painful. It just makes you feel alive.
What are some of the services that you offer people then? What if someone was going to get in touch here and just saying, what problems have they got that are getting in touch with you?
So my main ones is fertility.
Yeah.
Because how old was I? Like 43, I was told there was 0.7% chance I could have a child with my own eggs, even with IVF. So they're like, you've got one dead ovary and the other one's only got a few follicles. And I was like, well, I'm doing my course, and at the moment, the module I'm doing is on hormones, so I'm going to give myself a go and practice on me and my partner and see if, what they're teaching me does make a difference.
What do you mean practice on you and your partner?
So I wanted to improve his fertility fitness as well as my own.
Yeah.
Because it's just like baking a cake, right?
Yeah.
All the ingredients matter.
Yeah.
And then within, I think it was about 4 months, we were pregnant. And
what were you doing? What kind of thing were you doing?
So I changed all my exercise round. I used to go to the gym 5-6 days a week. I used to do Brazilian stick fighting.
Yeah.
I used to do that 3-4 times a week. So I lowered all my weight, stopped the stick fighting, did things like swimming, started yoga. So that's slow flow.
So you did more sort of feminine.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That I'd looked into certain Indian adaptogens like shatavari, ashwagandha. Started doing meditations, upped my protein massively. So I started eating properly then, like chicken, loads of fish. With him, no alcohol, no partying. Really changed our sleep schedule of when we went to bed. So going to bed, even if it's a Wednesday night or a Saturday night, within the same half an hour to keep you in that same flow. Because basically a lot of us, like, oh, it's Saturday night, it's Friday night, what are you going to bed at 10 o'clock for? It's Saturday night. But basically then you're basically jumping ahead to Greece, or, you know, you're going into a different time zone. And your body doesn't like that, does it? We've all had jet lag.
No, at all.
Exactly, you're like, what's going on?
So he's doing that, you've done that, and then 4 months later...
I was pregnant and I gave birth to my daughter 2 weeks before my 45th birthday as a geriatric mum.
In inverted commas.
Yeah.
Weird, isn't it, how people label you like that?
You're a geriatric mum at 35 now.
Really?
Yes, I don't know what I was.
So that's got to be a big service that people come to you for.
Yeah, that's a big one. Prepping for IVF, I didn't realise then a lot of my clients were coming to me pre-IVF. So now that's on my website as well, because it makes sense. If you're going to invest your one free chance, quite often people just get one option on the NHS.
Just because of the price, like?
No, because you may be eligible for one free session in the NHS.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's different each postcode depending on your age, if your partner's had a child, all of these.
And if you were going to do it private, how much does that cost?
It's like 7,000-8,000. It's thousands, yeah.
Per time?
There are places that do it cheaper, but then you add on all the drugs. Average, I'd say, around the country, 7,000.
Yeah.
So if you're investing that, but your BMI is out, or you've got candida, or you've got inflammation in your body, or your partner's still drinking, vaping, or your partner's got 2% sperm morphology, which is the shape of your sperm. A lot of men 40 plus, the shape of their sperm isn't that great in the UK at the moment. Or the sperm isn't just going straight up to the egg, it's going like this. Or it's just vibrating. They've got it, but it's just like hanging out and doing a little dance. It's not going anywhere. Okay. So I get them swimming in the right direction and get more of them in the lovely shape. So then when you go in for your IVF or your natural fertility, you've got more chance. So for example, like the scale is for morphology, the way the sperm should be shaped is between 4% and 14%. So I get guys coming to me a lot, 2%, 1%. That's all they've got. And then I can get them to... I had one guy 0% going to 4%. I got one man 2% to 10%.
How are you testing someone's sperm?
I don't. I just send them to the GP or a private clinic. They come back with their sperm results, and then we work out what's going on.
And they show you pictures of the sperm? No,
it's not the sperm. Don't show me pictures of the sperm.
What we doing here? Yeah, but how do you know the shape of it?
Because you've got overall sperm count.
I don't know.
So I know. I've got so many books on sperm. My eldest often texts me, "What are you doing?"
This is probably the first time I've talked about sperm.
You should get your sperm checked, right? Even if you don't want children.
Yeah.
Because that's a really good indication of your overall health.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So listen up, chaps.
Right, sound. Listen to that. So, what else? You do that, which is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is like amazing.
Because that you can really you can improve the sperm quality, and you can improve egg quality. You can't improve the amount of eggs a woman has, but you can improve the quality. So there's that. I deal with the menopause.
Why do you say it like that?
Because like everyone's talking about the menopause, like it's like a big buzzword.
Okay. The menopause.
So I help ladies transition a lot easier and work out ways that are going to support them.
I'm probably going to get shot for this, but what is the menopause? What is it?
It's just another so officially, right. There's two definitions. So officially, it's either 1 to 2 years after a woman has no longer had a period.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no longer a bleed. But I can't remember what the lady's called. but there's a doctor, and I really believe in what she says. It's a hormone deficiency. So you're going to be lacking in estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So that's all it is. You have a dramatic drop of these hormones. It's like you'll lose muscle mass as we get older. That's why ladies are more. We have less estrogen. We're more likely to develop, less muscle. I can't say the word. I'm dyslexic. Osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's helping women go through that transition. People who've got IBS I have loads of businessmen that are just like, I've got a PT, I'm eating well, I'm doing this, but I can't get rid of my gut. Or
what do you say to them?
I say, okay, let's have a look what's going on in your life. Let's have a look what you're eating. What's your poo like?
What's my shit like?
Yeah, I ask people what's your poo like. I've even asked people to send me pictures.
Of the shit?
Yeah. Yeah, we all do it. I hope you all do it.
You do, but I've never sent someone a picture of my shit before.
Yeah.
But it does make sense.
It's really good. So with my 4-year-old, we look at her poo every day and I say, what's going on with your poo? And she'll say, oh, mummy, because she's really got a strong northern accent. Mummy, I've got cracks in my poo. That means I need more water. I say, yes, you do. Oh, I need some more vegetables because my poo's not in a snake poo.
Is that what you're looking for, a snake poo?
Yeah, you want a snake poo and a clean poo. So when you wipe your bum, there's nothing on the tissue. Snake poo.
That's a snake poo.
Snake poo.
Right.
And number 4 is.
That is the ideal poo.
It's a beautiful poo.
Right.
Check your poo and check your wee.
What am I looking for in my wee?
You just want it to be like, at the end in the morning, you want it to be darker because it means you've detoxed and everything out of the night. And then throughout the day, you just want it to get paler.
Like clear?
Clear, you're just weeing out water, aren't you? You want it to have a blush.
A blush of yellow.
A blush of yellow.
Right. Well, I didn't know that. I'm talking about sperm, piss and shit.
That's my daily thing.
It's important though, isn't it? But I think, all of a sudden, like, talking about menopause, I'm like, I don't want to talk about sperm, don't want to talk about shit. And really people need to lean into this and be all right talking about it.
Yeah. Your poo's going to tell you so much about yourself. So just look at it. It'll give you a little guide. Or if you're not, so at the beginning of coaching, I used to say, oh, what's your poo like? And people say, oh, I'm quite regular. Now I say, no. I want to know, I send them the Bristol stool chart, say, pick out, tell me what number it is. And how often do you go.
What do you mean?
The Bristol stool chart.
I've never heard that. What the fuck is that?
It's been around for donkey's years. Google it afterwards and have a look.
The Bristol
stool chart.
Stool chart.
Bristol as in the place, stool as in your poo.
Yeah.
And it's a chart. And it gives you sloppy, all the different colours, Malteser-y things. They even do one that's like different chocolates.
What?
Yeah, there's even one to make people understand. So I think a number 3 is looks like a flake, and a number 4 is I don't know, like a timeout or something.
A timeout. There's a problem if there's a timeout. A fucking timeout.
Yeah. You don't want Maltesers either,
or a lion bar. Can you imagine it was a lion bar?
Oh yeah, then that's probably a
pain.
lion bar would probably be a number 3. Right. Slightly constipated, but you're all right.
The Bristol stool chart. This is online.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Isn't it mad that? I never ever heard about that before.
Get on it.
So, the fertility thing, amazing. Menopause thing, amazing. And people are coming to you when they've got IBS, I think there's a lot of people that go to the gym and stuff, I just can't get rid of that last bit and stuff. And that last bit is usually diet, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not just diet. So it's like, what's right for you is going to be completely different to me. Yeah. So all these people are like, yeah, I'm paleo, I'm keto, I'm fasting, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, but is it right for you in your circumstance and your given goals that you want? And so that's why I think it's important to work with a coach, because they can look into your own individual life. Because you've had a different upbringing to me. You know, you're a man, I'm a woman, you're white, I'm brown. All of these different things are you know.
All factors.
Yeah, exactly. I was a big partier between 15 and 19. You know, I lived in Japan, ate loads of low-grade sushi.
Yeah.
All of these things have got factors.
Some people just give you one size fit all, don't they?
And I really think
But
that's dangerous.
what are you then, a nutrition coach or are you a wellness coach? What? It's so hard to, isn't it, if somebody asks you, what do you do?
But to me, it is. But everything is nutrition. The way I talk about myself.
Yeah.
You know, I used to say, I don't know, like trying to find a car parking space here. 10 years ago, I couldn't find one, and I would be like, "Oh, Liberty, you're so stupid. Why can't you just do this?" Like I'd talk negatively to myself.
Yourself.
That's nutrition. That's bad medicine going into your body. You know, you talk negatively about yourself, or you get stressed. You know, you say you get that gut feeling. The taste in your mouth will change. The saliva in your mouth will change. All of these things. So that's going to affect your food choices. It's going to affect how you eat. It's going to affect what you eat, and it's going to affect how you absorb it. So it's all nutrition.
Where did you get the word integrative from?
Oh, my course, Institute of Integrative Nutrition, IIN.
But nobody really uses that word, do they?
They don't in the UK. They do in America.
Do they? Yeah, it all comes back to nutrition, doesn't it, really?
It is. Everything. The water, everything. How much you're scrolling. When are you scrolling? Why are you scrolling? You know, I have quite a lot of obese clients come to me. They've been to fat camp. They've had the pen that makes you skinny. Then they've gone to get, or they might have
the pen.
Yeah, there's an injection that you can have. I don't really know about it.
No.
It's a diabetic medication, but now they're using it on obese people. It's from the NHS. I know.
No.
But that's not solving why the person's eating, what's going on emotionally, what hole are they trying to fill, and changing those habits in the mind. So I help them.
So you've got to do that, haven't you? Go right back to the cause, even if it's going back to the womb, to then come back and then have a different relationship with the food. So no matter what you do, it's always with the eating.
Yeah, it's with eating, sleeping, when we go to sleep, why we go to sleep, why do we drink alcohol, all of these things. Like, I don't really drink anymore, and I used to be a right party girl.
I can imagine. Well, I can't imagine. Yeah, the gut microbiome, I just didn't realise how powerful that was. Something I'm really sort of like thinking about.
Well, the vagus nerve goes both ways, doesn't it? So it's like a highway, 4 different highways going back and forth. So now even they're using, what are they called? Psychobiotics. So it's like certain probiotics that people can take that can help with mental health. So if you think you've got a bloated belly,
Yeah.
you're going to have a foggy mind.
Nobody wants that.
No, we all want to be sharp.
Sharp. What's one of the things that to do with like fasting? What's your sort of like take on that? I know everybody's individual and stuff like that. What is your take on it?
I think it depends what your goal is and how you're fasting. So,
Because I only eat once a day.
Oh, okay.
But it just works for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it's about what you're
But I
eating
still
in
don't
that
know if
time.
that's good or not. I've just done it because I'm going to say lazy. Yeah, I'll say lazy, right? And it's efficient. It bores me eating, right? So I get to 8 o'clock let's say 7. So I'll eat something at 7, something massive, and then that's it.
Whoa. And then when do you go to bed?
About 8:30. Yeah.
So you eat at 7
Yep.
and then you go to bed at 8:30.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I can tell from your face right now that that's not a good thing. Right?
I don't really think that's good.
Because you've
you-
got that look that my mum usually looks at me when I've done something wrong.
A lot of my men say I'm like a nagging auntie.
I won't say nagging, but you've got that look, haven't you? You're like, fuck, what have I said?
Well, just think, right? The body needs to break down that food. And it needs things like insulin, it's going to affect your cortisol, but then you need things like melatonin to fall asleep. They're all not meant to be working at the same time.
I am out like a light.
Yeah, because your body's like, freak, all this food stuff, just can't do much more. But do you wake up feeling like bang?
Depends on what I've eaten.
All right, there you go. Maybe start doing a food diary. Working it out.
Okay.
Just write down what you ate. It's not a lot for you because you only do one meal.
And what mood?
What mood you are. Do a mood score, 0 to 10, energy score, and focus score. And just do that.
How do I do a focus score?
Like, are you on it? Like, clear, laser focused? That'd be 10. I probably, throughout times in the day, go from a 7 to a 9. You know, and then just do that. And then after a month, like 4 weeks of doing it, you'd be like, okay, well, when I eat that, I'm not as on it the next morning. And when I eat this, I'm laser focused. So then you can adapt your food intake.
So you're saying I shouldn't be eating an hour and a half before
I wouldn't recommend it.
6 o'clock?
A good 3 hours before
3
bed.
hours?
Yeah. So I finish always eating at 7 and I go to bed around 10.
Okay.
It depends on what your goal is as well. So with the fasting.
I'd like to be laser focused.
Yeah.
Unbloated. And non-lethargic.
There you go.
There you go.
So try and move your meal a little bit earlier.
Okay, done.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you offer apart from that condescending look when things aren't going
I'm a
your
good old
way?
cheerleader. So all of so I do just one-off one-to-ones. Like say I did you for an hour.
Yeah.
I would recommend. I'd look at what you eat, what supplements you take, what your expectations are, what you need from your life, like running your company, or I'd ask for you to do certain bloods so we could work out how to optimize them. But then there's people say they're like, oh, I've got gut issues, or I only go to the toilet every other day, or
Every other day?
yeah, some people are like, I'm regular, and I said, what's regular to you? And like every other day or every 2 days.
Shit.
Well, yeah,
Well,
no.
no shit.
No shit. Or they're like 4 times a day. I'm like, oh, okay. So those people I do 12 weeks with.
Yeah.
If it's an anxiety or it's managing stress or an autoimmune disease, or people are just like, I'm just exhausted all the time, I'm living off coffee, or menopause. And then I give them recipes, data to understand why I'm asking them to take maybe magnesium 3 hours before bed, or L-theanine 30 minutes before bed, so they can understand. I will, when they want to slack off, or something's not going quite right during that week, I'll give them a call, text. I'm just like that.
Condescending look.
Nagging auntie.
Yeah. People need that though,
Cheerleader.
don't they? They need to kick up the arse, don't
Yeah,
they?
people need to kick, or they need a right good telling to. Sometimes, like some of my men,
Yeah.
I'll really give them a good old telling to, and I think I've either lost that client or I've really got them.
Right.
Yeah. Or some people just need that more gentle encouragement, or, some people don't have the confidence to go to the gym just at that moment. So I'll work out with them at 6. Just for 20 minutes every morning, like, come on, like, you can do this, look where you were before. So I'll do whatever I can to get someone to where they want to be.
How can people find you? How can people get in touch with you?
I'm on Instagram, I'm mills.liberty.
You put your surname last.
First, mills.liberty. It's because someone stole my old Instagram, some weird man in Buffalo, so I couldn't get into it.
That's weird.
Yeah, freak.
Great.
Or Integrative Liberty, which is my website.
Not just your name.
No.
Let's talk after this. Okay.
Which might have made more sense because you're a brand manager and I'm not.
Thank you, Mills Liberty, Integrative Liberty, whatever the fuck you're called. It's been a pleasure and an honour. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Tim Marner, what, your friend